Correct.
You know, I'm a 45-year-old space nerd.
Each and every one of us is a crew member here on Spaceship Earth.
The Galactic Guys, John Ennis and Mighty Mike Taylor.
There is a space age quality to them.
This is the Galactic Coast Power Hour on Vinyl Draft Radio.
That is right. This is the Galactic Coast Power Hour, and we're coming to you live from the ACU Texas studio on the top floor of the historic Gemini building just down the street from the home of human spaceflight. My name is John Ennis, and tonight, as always, I'm joined by my brother and brew, Mighty Mike Taylor.
Yo, yo.
How goes it, Mighty Mike?
Goes good, man.
What's
Goes
you
good.
drinking? You are
Crush City.
Crush City.
It's one of my new favorites with the, of course, the St. Arnold art car.
Right.
But it ranks right there, man. So I'm chugging this.
Awesome, man. Glad you could make it. Behind the glass in the production room, we've got our bearded buddy Tegan running the board, keeping us on the air and sounding good. How goes it, Tegan?
It's all good, yo-yo.
Awesome, Tegan. Thanks for being here. Thanks for all you do for our show. So, in honor,
and our show as well.
That's right. I did not have to introduce you guys to Tegan. That's right. A connection was made.
It was started here on our first appearance, and it's been love at first sight ever since.
How could you? I don't
know about sight.
That's a story.
Never mind.
I was about to say that's the story of Tegan's life.
And he said he didn't
I'm not
want to hold
saying
hands with me.
anything.
It organically grew. You know, we just kind of. No, I'm just kidding.
That is right.
Tegan's a man.
So, in honor of the planet's largest MMA fighting organization being in town this weekend for UFC 247 Saturday night at the Toyota Center, we decided to visit with the planet's fastest growing grappling organization, which was also born here along the Galactic Coast, and that's the fellas from Third Coast Grappling Championships. We got Ryan and Oliver in the house tonight.
What's
hey,
up,
fellas.
guys? What's going on,
Hey,
y'all?
thanks for joining us.
Always,
a
man.
pleasure.
We always
you,
enjoy
man.
coming out here. Appreciate y'all having us.
Man, we love having you.
Absolutely.
And, let's just jump right to it, man. You broke news about an hour ago.
Well, I was going to wait, and
Big
I
news.
looked on my Instagram, and he'd already posted it. I'm like, well, I guess I may as well. I don't want to, get out scooped, so to say, on my own announcement. So I went ahead and
Hey, this is a radio exclusive, a live radio exclusive.
Yeah. So Gordon Ryan, he's the best grappler in the world.
Right.
I mean, if you think of like Kobe Bryant or LeBron or somebody, like he's that level. Like he might not be Jordan yet, but he's one of the greatest. Like he's definitely great. We signed him to a 5-fight, $100,000 deal, which which guarantees us certain matches and certain things within the contract. And we're kind of doing like a revolutionary thing with the contract too. We're not going to make it exclusive. He can't only fight for Third Coast, but we're going to have first dibs on certain things. We're going to be able to say, hey, maybe this and that, and we're going to make sure that there's distance in between his matches with somebody else and with ours, so there's no overlap. Because the worst thing that can happen is, oh, well, we got this great match plan, doing all the marketing and advertising, and turns around and gets his ass kicked. He hasn't lost in like 6 years, but I mean, probably about 3 or 4 years, but yeah, he hasn't lost in forever.
But you mentioned, maybe he's not quite the Jordan yet, but as far as active jiu-jitsu practitioners, he's about as good as it gets.
He's the best.
He's top of the game.
He's
Top
Conor
of the game
McGregor.
currently.
He's the Conor McGregor of grappling, is the way like I explain to people. Like he's a guy that's out there using his mouth, using his marketing prowess, using his performances, on the mat to propel the sport to great new heights and helping with crossover stuff. The wrestling thing we just recently did was huge for us and for him. So I mean, the guy's a trailblazer. He's trying to blow the sport up himself. Nobody else is doing it. So.
Now that wrestling thing you referenced, is that the Bo Nickel, the Bo Nickel Gordon Ryan fight,
Yeah,
which
incredible.
The suplex heard around the world, I think it was.
Right. I mean, that got a lot of attention going into it, and then afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, it was going into it like I have kind of a different way I look at things. I'm like, okay, well, if we want to grow the sport from a niche sport into something bigger than it is, what do? We get other sports involved, or we get other people involved, or we get, we find a way to cross over to harness their people that follow their sport. So we were like, hey, a guy pulled out of a match that we had with Gordon, and so me and him talking, we were like, let's get a wrestler in there. I've been wanting to do it for a while now, like since probably last June. I wanted to get a wrestler versus, jiu-jitsu guy to get that crossover prowess, but we were able to get Bo solidified, and it turned out it was one of those matches that people were like, what the
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, he's just not any ordinary wrestler, right? I mean, he was coming with quite the pedigree.
He was the best wrestler.
Currently,
in
the top collegiate wrestler, right?
He won an award in wrestling that's similar to the Heisman. Like the guy is about as good as it gets in collegiate wrestling, and now Olympic wrestling. He's getting ready to make the Olympic team. So
wow.
Phenomenal guy, phenomenal team. All those guys were straight pros, but I mean, the match was crazy.
It was an amazing match.
It was a tactical kind of back and forth thing. Bo trying not to go to the ground too soon because he'd get submitted. Gordon trying to get him to the ground. Bo scrambling, and then Bo timing it with that big suplex, but still giving Gordon too much time, and he ended
up getting submitted.
Right?
Yeah.
So.
No, I read, there's comparisons made. I mean, it was kind of like, to the McGregor-Floyd fight where, two different tops in two different sports, fighting. And so that was kind of interesting. I mean, that was...
It was kind of like, I called it kind of like the Conor McGregor, Floyd Mayweather for grappling, because it was joining two guys from two different sports, two different styles, and bringing them together and doing something cool. And it delivered. It was amazing. It was compelling. It was dramatic. If you're there in person, I mean, you could have heard a pin drop at certain points. And it wasn't because they were bored. People were just like, whoa. Like, I mean, any second you could expect something big to happen.
Watching magic happen.
So coming up in March, we're going to do it again, but this time with Nick Rodriguez, Nicky Rod. He's like taking the grappling world by storm. He's fighting a guy named Pat Downey who just is fighting on the Olympic team. They've had a match before under wrestling rules. Now we're bringing him under our rules where submissions are legal. He's coming into our house, so we're going to see how it goes. But it's a big rematch.
Who got the best in the first? The
Pat
wrestler?
Downey, the wrestler, did. Tore his ass up. But
it's wrestling.
You step into a different rule and environment. Yeah,
but see,
things change.
Well, like Nicky Rod, he had a collegiate background as well, but I think it was very limited. The guy's just a natural athlete, a freak athlete.
Yeah, he's huge.
He's only been training like a year and a half, and he won silver at the biggest, like the Olympics of our sport, grappling, ADCC.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the guy's phenomenal. So I mean, this is going to be a huge. Like, I expect this one to steal the show for March 14th.
Wow.
It's going to be big.
And that's here in town, right? That's at Warehouse Live?
Warehouse Live, March 14th.
Awesome.
And hopefully you guys will come out. It's
nice.
Last time y'all came to an event, it was two asshole to elbows, and y'all couldn't really move around.
Okay, so now speaking of, as you said, a pin could drop in the room you were in. I have never been at Scout Bar where I could look 10 feet away to someone and whisper, and they would hear me when we went to your event. It was dead silent. Everybody had their phones out,
and
but I think it was more for...
It was sold out.
No, it was elbow to elbow.
It was like this the whole way.
Elbow, yes. And Tegan was over at the sound booth, and I was like, we were trying to figure out where Tegan was, and we're like, I think he's over there.
Just look for the big bearded man.
We were whispering. I look over and go, hey, Tegan, we're over here. And he's like, yeah. But at Scout Bar, that's huge because as many people
That's
were
a loud
in
venue,
there,
typically, yeah.
and there was nothing. You could hear every toe hit the mat when we were there. That's the anticipation.
And then when something exciting happens, it explodes. Like,
whoa! And then
you'll
right back to silent. Right back to silent.
Time,
you'll go to some of these
occasional Portuguese, or something. But
hey, you know what? I learned all I know about Portuguese from the C translation feature on Facebook. All my Brazilian friends type in something.
Oh, that's bad or good, depending on who it is.
I know what that says right there, and I know it's probably not very good C translation. Oh, it wasn't very good. But I'm learning. Now I don't have to push C translation as much. I'm like, I'm learning Portuguese passively. It's great.
Nice.
It's like your Rosetta Stone.
It's never too late.
Passive Portuguese.
Or
what can I say?
Jujitsively.
Oh, man. I can only handle one jujitsu right now. But yeah, the Scout Bar thing, man. I mean, we talk about it every time, but it was.
Correct me if I'm wrong. That was just literally a year ago last month, right?
January,
that's what's blown my mind. In my mind, I thought you guys had been around for like 2 years already because I've seen it grow. And then I just realized it's only been a little over a year, man.
Yeah.
It's your first event.
You've known me for a long time.
Yeah.
And you know, once I get my
that's
something
true.
It's
claws
true. Yeah.
Claws into something.
And now I'm just a little bit older, a little wiser. I'm not making dumb mistakes anymore. So and I got a great group of people around me. Oliver, my partner Zach, Lisa. I mean, I got a great team, and they believe in the vision that I've kind of brought forth, and they help me execute it the best I can. I come with the big ideas, the way to execute it, and everybody, we all believe in each other, we all trust each other, and we kind of took a route to hack the industry because there was this whole thing oh well, you've got to do this, you got to put your time in, you got to do this. It could have saved us a few headaches. Don't get me wrong, if we would have did it the slow way, but it's not fun for me. I don't want
how Ryan rolls.
I don't want to be number 3 for a few years while I'm grinding my way up. How can I hack the industry? So in June, that's when we just said, all right, let's boom, balls on the table. Let's see what we can do. And we put our money where our mouth is.
I like how there was 3. Boom, boom, boom.
Well,
that was more than the balls.
I developed the third one after
checked out eventually.
The third one was developed after the June show.
So we call you triple sec.
Yeah, triple sec.
Ryan triple sec.
Triple sec, triple sack, whatever.
It's a silent investor.
But no, I mean, Silent event. Get the fuck out of here. No, but so
Didn't sound silent.
We had 100+ K like in talent for our June event. It ran a little long. It was crazy, but it put our name on the map. So now people were listening. We went from 0 followers on Instagram. We didn't buy any. We didn't do any of this other stuff people are doing. Organically, we've grown ours almost to 13,000. We've got a ton of followers on Facebook. Anything we're posting is getting reposted. And my idea was to dominate the market. I don't care if we don't have an event for 5 months. I'm going to find a way, as you saw with the announcement today, to keep our name in the press, keep us relevant, because people only remember the last thing you did. And people have a very short memory in this kind of ADD culture where people are always looking for the next thing and they're, getting moved around. So
Absolutely.
You're a master marketer yourself. Like, who am I even talking to?
Kind words.
John, you're a marketer yourself. So, you know how it goes.
Right. So one concept that you had that really caught my interest and apparently it worked because it was sold out was the kids. They had a kid match at Scout Bar, sold out.
Sold out weeks in advance.
Yeah,
weeks in advance. It sold out. Like
that's awesome.
So I was sitting there and I was looking around like the Jiu-Jitsu Academy one day, and me and my partner were like, "How can we continue to expand but still keep us in the city? And how can we do?" And so I started thinking. I was on the toilet. I'm like,
underrated.
That's where the great ideas happen. Got to keep a notepad.
It's the throne of solitude. I'm just sitting there and I'm like, "This is hold on." And I go, "Zach." So if you look at it, the kids are the lifeblood of any sport, whether it's t-ball, whether it's soccer, whether it's baseball, whether it's jiu-jitsu. They're the lifeblood of any academy. They're the lifeblood of any sport. So why would we have a business that excludes kids? We don't want them at our big shows. We don't want a bunch of kids running around while mommy's getting tore up and watching a grappling match. No. So I was like, you know what? Why don't we create a separate thing, give it a test run? And so we just ran with it. And I think it was within a 2 or 3 months period of time where I went from conception, announcing, getting kids applied. And then I reached out to a guy that's kind of like the godfather of kids jiu-jitsu. And he came on board with me, and he's been booking all my kids' events for me. He's like seamless. I say, hey, this is what I want. This is the number of matches I want. This is how I want it set up. And he goes and does it. It's incredible.
Wow.
So I just reached out and used my network to bring the right people in. I oversee it. I still do my thing, but he handles it, mostly all of it.
And I thought a nice touch was you had I don't know if it was really your weigh-ins or whatever over at Urban Air. Dude, many a kid's birthday party at that venue.
That's what the idea was. I was like,
I love it.
We do. My thing was to do destination weigh-ins. A lot of these places, all right, man, we've got so-and-so pro. We're going to have a great time. And then they're doing like the weigh-ins at like a banquet hall in a hotel with like somebody like cleaning
MC,
not even an MC, like somebody cleaning the carpet. People, like it's just weird, man.
Yeah.
You got to have an MC, man.
Yeah, so
got to.
So I was like, my flair for showmanship. I'm like, let's do destination weigh-ins. We did it Pitch 25 for our June.
That's right, yeah.
Then we did Lucky's for the last one. For the kids, I was like, I love taking my kid to Urban Air. I went there, I had a blast. I was like, who the hell wouldn't want to go here? It's right here by Scout Bar. So I got them on the phone, and it took a while, but it was probably a 2 or 3 month process.
Yeah, because you had to go through corporate for that, probably,
but man,
right?
Yeah, they're on board. They're our official weigh-in partner. They gave us all free stuff, access. It was amazing. So I was able to leverage that relationship, and it went over great.
And I'm guessing your daughter's birthday party for the next 10 years is going to be at Urban Air.
Correct.
25 years.
Maybe
25 to life.
Happy 30th birthday, baby. Let's go ride the go-karts.
Hey, come on. There's a cake.
No, man, it's been a great year.
That was just in January, right? The kids?
No, the kids was last month.
Okay.
In January.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That's what last month
I know,
was.
man.
Yeah. This year is already slipping away.
I
do
know.
understand.
I've lost all track of everything.
So
and then that fight with the Bo Nichols, that was like was that what December?
Yeah, December.
Man,
that's what I told you. 3 events in like a month and a half.
Dude,
my head's been spinning.
And that got a lot of attention. I know the Oregon gangster Cheo Sonnen kind of
we got a little jolly back and forth.
Yeah.
Man, Cheo was super cool. He sent me a message and was like, dude, I love what you guys are doing. I'd never even heard of you guys until Cheo, and I said, don't be bullshitting. You knew who we were before then. But I was just messing with him. But no, he was like...
well, he talked shit anyway.
Yeah, he talked shit and then...
But he was super complimentary.
He's a good guy.
Yeah.
He's a good guy. He talks shit because he knows it sells.
No, and then
he understands that. He understands
and he said
that.
what he said, but then the next day he saw the event and was like, I was blown away. This was phenomenal. I've never seen anything like it. And this is a guy that owns a grappling promotion himself.
Yes.
That he's going out there on his platform and giving us love and appreciation. And I couldn't think of more. That was incredible of him to do. I appreciate it.
Because you kind of,
amazing grappler.
Right.
Amazing grappler.
He's a Gracie Baja guy too. He trains in Oregon at one of our affiliates. So it's kind of like that, a little connection.
Now, it seems like you really like the whole kind of nightclub angle that you brought to it. I don't know if that. I mean, do other promotions do it like that? I mean, that's
a lot of guys
with the race stage, dark, got the big old video screen.
This is where a lot of people go wrong with these other grappling shows. Like I've gone to all of them, and they all serve